billionth time, put the microphone near your face, Ashton. What's up, everybody? It's 10:11 Central Time, which means it's too fucking late. Wow, man. Still got this stupid issue, huh? Yeah, anyway. Let's do this. Phone's blowing up. It's actually super annoying. Anyway, like I said before, this is our second annual Ask Me Anything on really, honestly, because the last time we did it, it was a, wow, man. If you hear popping in the background, it's because somebody in my neighborhood, legitimately, it is one person in my neighborhood feels the need to launch fireworks. Like, I maybe it's because I'm 30 now. I don't find that fun. Never really did find it fun. And maybe some people just got shit to do. Shout out to everybody out there who's living free, doing their thing, and having a great time. Why would it put? Oh man. Hold on. Ooh, is this gonna work or is it gonna do something stupid? I just need to edit the title, bro. You need to calm down. Facebook's doing something dumb. Also, the formatting on my computer's still messed up. Wow, I need a couple of things. Well, really, I just need to change the title. Like, bro, I'm just trying to change the title of the stream. Keyframe rate too low. Bro, get the fuck out of here. Like, alright, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever. Sure. Are we skipping frames? We're not. Alright, shut up, Facebook. Jesus. That's when nobody likes you guys. I'm kidding. Wow. I'm trying. Let's see. What you got, multi-chat? Nothing? Whatever. Alright. We are trying to do a flurry of things all at one time. One of them is not get fucking triggered by how fucking annoying Snapchat is right now. The team Snapchat. Love everybody in that Snapchat. It's just, I don't need all that fucking noise going on right now. I'm trying to figure something out. And it's super... The buzzing is pissing me off. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why can't we edit the title of our fucking video, bro? Yeah, like, I don't get why the title... Okay, you know what? Facebook, keep being weird. Yep, see, like, that's super annoying because that doesn't sound like fireworks. That sounds like guns. And in Houston, apparently they're giving, like, up to $5,000 rewards for people who are firing off guns into the air, which, by the way... if there was one less moronic thing that you could do in this world, it would be maybe not fire a gun that can kill people in the air because you want to celebrate, but don't want to buy shit. Like, don't want to buy fireworks, bro. Just keep being a broke boy. Stop trying to threaten people's lives so that you can have a good time for like 5 seconds. You would think you'd never have to say that, but here we are. Anyway, I'm opening up. Yeah, we're doing the AMA, trying to power through this real quick. Anyway, I got a couple of things. Whoa. All right, sorry. Sound check done on Facebook. We got a couple of things to do here before it gets all weird. I am taking questions. I'll be looking for them in the chat at all times on all 3 platforms, on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you have anything that you want to write into the chat, feel free to do so. Oh man, and it is a Ask Me Anything, but you know, we'll see how wild some people try and get. Shouldn't be too much, but I do have some things I wanted to go over before I start answering questions, and honestly, before I start getting more and more threatening text messages from the place that I'm supposed to be as time goes on. Let's take it from the top, shall we? We went through, we did a couple of things. I did some life review type stuff, and I went over a series of things, and I thought I'd start off with the negative so I can get into the positive real quick. I went over this year, thought about it, and thought about my wins, my losses, things that I remembered, and things to do for next season, for next year. I keep saying season. Anyway, Tell me you're a sports guy without telling me you're a sports guy. Let's start off with the losses, man. So this relatively simple. Like, there's nothing too complex about this. I think as you get older, you lose friendships. Time goes on. Time passes. You have people who actively choose to not be in your life, and people who don't, like, people who actively choose to not be in your life, and people who accidentally slip out of it because of either negligence on one side or the other. I will say most of the friendships I lost this year were due to, like, you know, me trying to send out friendship and not receiving any back, and I'm trying to do a better job off previous New Year's goals and things like that, things that I try and hold myself to on a regular basis. Something really, it's things that my mom has taught me early on in life and has kept reiterating as time goes on, because as time has gone on, I've had people still wrong me in some pretty disastrous ways. Nothing like life-threatening, but definitely like friendship-ending type stuff. And there was a lot of signs leading up to the big moment where I got kind of, in a sense, betrayed. I've told the story already before about the friend that I had who, you know, I've told this story before, and it was like the big integral moment, but there's other small things that have led to other people doing small things. But I bring up the big one, which is I used to have a friend, was friends with him from like middle school through high school, all that kind of stuff like that. It used to be him, me, and my current best friend. We were like super duper tight. And then, you know, it comes time, he's getting married, he's getting married to the girl of his dreams, which is fucking amazing. Regardless of how I exist right now, I'm still very happy that he's at that point in his life where he's found somebody who truly loves him and he truly loves her. But he, you know, invited me to the bachelor party, went to Vegas, all that kind of stuff like that, had me go with him. We had a great time. And then later on, later on, as the wedding gets closer and stuff like that, I realized that I'm not invited. And I asked him about it. He was basically like, yeah, man, you know, like, it's in another country and I can only bring so many people. And, you know, you're just like, he basically was like, you're just on the cusp of like my top friends. And this is a person I've known for like almost 10 years. You know, that kind of stuff like that. So like and I think what really put it over the top is like I went to the wedding shower and I sat at a table with all of my close friends and everybody was going to the wedding but me. And so for like 3 or 4 times while I was sitting at the table, I had to explain I wasn't going to the wedding for a multitude of reasons. And I don't know how much it took people aback or whatever, but I wasn't going, I wasn't invited. And it was one of those moments where I realized this person is moving on to the next chapter in their life and it doesn't include me. And for a long time, I was sad. A short period of time, I was pretty angry. And then as time has gone on, I just tell people how it is. Like, we're not, like, I don't wish that person ill will, but we're not cool anymore. And that's cool, man. I've had some other friends, you know, like, I'll even say this. I had a situation yesterday that makes me question whether or not I should continue to be, quote unquote, friends with someone, right? Because I don't think if I told somebody what happened to me yesterday, they would consider that person a friend. But yeah, man, that's just kind of a lot of friendship losses. Not a lot, actually. Some key friendship losses and some big ones gained. My friends are having babies and stuff like that, so I'm assuming it's going to be harder and harder to see everyone as time goes on, unless I want to hang out with small children, which I don't really mind, especially like when they're super young. The ones that really irk my nerves are the ones that can talk. So, as coming from a person who was an annoying child himself, it may be time for some karma. I lost a lot of self-hatred as well this year. It was pretty cool, man. I used to, and this goes back, this is actually going to circle into a couple of things that have happened to me this year. So, some of you who know me as a person in real life, and some of you who only know me via this stream or whatever, may have noticed like a couple years ago, you could look at my Instagram. A lot of people point out like, oh man, it seems like you work out like every other day. And to that fact, I do train pretty consistently. I train more than the average human being by quite a lot. And the fact of the matter is that I was at a point where I think I had lost 87 pounds. At one point, I speculated that I was over 400 pounds. And I still believe that at some point I actually was. But I've regained like almost all that weight back. Like right now I'm at like 378 or something like that. And the first time around when I got up to these high weights and stuff like that, I kind of hated myself. Not to the point where I would harm myself or anything like that, but basically this is like, trying to be a 300 plus pound guy when you're trying to date and talk to women and stuff like that. This is back when I was single and everything like that. You try and date and talk to women, and there are certain women who are just not into fat guys, and that's a thing for some people, or was not into the kind of fat that I was, right? Because I can also have a whole conversation about how we can all look the same, but be very, very different in terms of size, because I don't think most people would consider me closer to 400 pounds than 300, right? Yeah, man, I used to legitimately not like myself and probably hated myself because I used to do things that I knew would not help me in my goal of losing weight. And as time went on, the ramification, and we'll actually talk about this a little bit later on in the losses category as well. One of the biggest L's I took was 2020 as a whole. And ironically enough, if you look at what I did in 2020, it'd be kind of shocking. But yeah, self-hatred, man. Lost a lot of that. Pretty nice. Feels good. Yesterday, I tweeted out, I had one of those days where I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, damn, you look good, dog. Would never thought you'd be able to say that as 300-pound dude, but I feel like I look good. Anyway, fear of the bubble. So this one is it was a way, I couldn't figure out how to phrase it. So I do this podcast, I do this stream, on a regular basis. Everybody knows this. I say on a regular basis, but I really don't do it on a regular basis. I do this stream, or I stream multiple times a week, pretty consistently, about different things. I stream about MTV's The Challenge now. I stream, which I need to do soon, because I'm trying to do better about streaming closer to debut day of episodes and stuff like that. But I stream about recapping the previous week of NFL football, which I haven't done now going on 3 weeks because of life and because the end of the year is insane. Even for a person who doesn't really have all that much to do, it was still insane for me. I was working a shit ton of hours and stuff like that. Anyway, that, and then I'm supposed to do an overall podcast about sports in general. Haven't done that in a while, and it sucks. Actually, haven't done that in 2 weeks. It sucks. It really does, because I actually wish I had more time to spend, one, crafting takes, and then two, talking about more things. But fear of the bubble is my thing that I put on here because I listen to podcasts pretty frequently. Pretty consistently, I listen to podcasts. And the one thing that I take away from every podcast that I listen to is that, damn, there's a lot of people out here doing this thing that I do on a regular basis that are more famous, that have a better social media presence than I do. Thus, hence, a lot of that will translate into more people listening to their podcasts. People who have a better following, people who are better at delivery, people who are more charming, charismatic, who look better than me, who are taller, who have better advice, who have better jokes. There are so many people in podcasting. And I have to sit back and think about, because, where I came from was a really successful podcast. I used to host a really successful high school sports podcast. There's no question about it whatsoever. The Fort Bend Playbook is probably one of the most impressive things that I've done ever in sports. And it's just a podcast I used to do weekly with Martin, who used to be a co-host on this show before, he dipped because he got a real TV job. Shout out to Martin and everything like that. Didn't, things could have ended better, but they did end, and I'm glad that my dude is successful. But and he continues to be successful. He's still out there doing his thing, man. So, but yeah, one of my big things is I came from a successful podcast, got kind of done pretty dirty by the person that I was working for / with at this company. I built this company up to the point where he could sell it and make money off of it on a regular basis, get sponsors for it. And then he kind of Hurricane Harvey hit. I lost my car. I told this story a billion one times. Hurricane Harvey hit. I lost my car, and then he forgot to fire me one day. That's kind of what it got to. But nonetheless, before that, I was hosting a podcast that most people would consider successful, especially considering what the target audience was, and it was high school kids, right? High school kids in a very specific part of America, and all the things that go with that. It was pretty cool, and has had long-lasting ramifications. I'm 30 years old, and there's still kids that I'm covering that are about to be drafted, which is really dope. That I was covering that are about to be drafted. Anyway, moving on. I take that and I have that mentality of like, I just need to do what I did with the playbook with this podcast. If you notice, I am one of those people who now I struggle, especially since like I, for a long time, put a lot of energy in to, I put a lot of energy into this. Like, I put a lot of energy into becoming a sportscaster. And as time has gone on, I've lost the energy to do the small things, like tweet links 3 times a day. So that the morning, noon, and night is what I used to do to maximize anything that I made. And people used to tell me it was a bad idea. And then they would also get fewer views than me on things that I would make, right? But yeah, man. Like, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where I came from something super successful, and so I expected this to be a little bit easier now that I was completely free to say whatever I wanted. And as time has gone on, I realized like every person that I've ever looked up to ever has a podcast in this game. People who are good at it, people who are bad at it, but still get more listeners than me because they were popping, and a lot of people respect them. For me, I listen to the Hoop Collective with Brian Windhorst, and if Brian Windhorst was not the guy who he is with ESPN in terms of his connections to NBA teams, he is ahead of some of the stuff that like Woj tweets out, and he's got insider knowledge on pretty much everything that happens in like the world of sports and everything like that. Fact of the matter is, man, like if he wasn't who he is, nobody would listen to that show. Like nobody, like the show is boring as hell. And I have to like mentally, for a long period of time, realize that popping off on the internet very often, or not very often, actually involves like a shit ton of talent, right? Like the most talented people stick around the longest, and people find them eventually. But like the people who pop off with like viral stuff, they are masters of social media to a certain degree, right? Getting people to their master salesmen. And I'm not one of those. I'm just trying to do the best show that I can do, and I tweet it out every once in a while. I try and cut clips. I try and do everything by myself. And for a long time, I used to, especially this year in particular, I used to hold myself up to the same standard that people who literally had teams of people cutting up and working on their podcast did. And I thought for a long period of time, like, oh man, I suck because I'm not at that level. And I realized like 99% of the podcasts that I listen to, the people who are hosting it are literally just turning on the microphone and talking. And that's cool, man. I'm glad they're in a position to be able to do that. It's also not their primary job. It's not the thing that they, want to live their entire lives off of. But there's a lot of, like, very few people are doing 100% production. There's very few shows where people are hosting by themselves and doing everything else by themselves as well. And so it took me a long time to get over that fear that really drove me to not want to post on social media, not want to even do the show some days, because it was something that creeped into the back of my mind. And luckily I kept with it, because I feel like the back half of the year, and once again, I'm a small streamer, right? Like I stream on Twitch and I have under 100 subscribers. I have under 100 followers. I have 0 subscribers, as a matter of fact, on Twitch. I have 26 YouTube followers. By the way, shout out to our newest followers on YouTube and on Twitch. We got one, which once again, keeping the trend alive. Every follower we've gotten the last like couple of weeks has been offline, so I haven't been able to use my little follower clip thing, which, by the way, if you follow right now, my it's not attached to this, so that's the messed up part. Anyway, we got one new follower on YouTube, got one new follower on Twitch, but I had to work past the fear, man. I had to work past the fear of being like a 30-year-old dude streaming who kind of doesn't have like all these angsty ideas and doesn't yell into the camera, doesn't have like all that funny jokes. And then I started embracing the fact like, hey man, like, if you make $100 million off this show, we're going to keep doing the show. If you make $0 off this show, we're going to keep doing the show because it's fun. The work leading up to it is not fun, but doing the show is actually fun. And I have to remember, sometimes you have to remember who you are. Which, by the way, I saw Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, a couple days ago. That was pretty slick. Ryan Coogler throwing in that moment that is a direct reference to Lion King. I respect that. I like it a lot. Yeah, we are going to do spoilers a little bit later on that. So if you haven't seen it, I would suggest you get on that. Anyway, let's talk about a couple of... finishing up the losses. To 2020, my biggest L to 2020 is that I basically undid all the hard work that I did the years prior to lose weight, to get down to 305 pounds, to be able to play some of the best Quidditch I've ever played. And now I'm one of those, now I feel like I've gotten better mentally and skill-wise or whatever, but I don't have, it's affecting my ability to stay on the field consistently. I'm actually facing a whole new brand of challenges as a player right now, because it feels like almost every team we play against is game planning and trying to pressure me into doing things that involve me not having the ball in my hand. So it fucking sucks. Anyway, big L's to 2020. That was a short period of time in there where I was just chilling at home. I would just drink an entire bottle of whiskey and play FIFA and Madden and shit like that. Talked to my friends, hung out, was not sad or anything. I was just sitting around, kept pouring the drinks, and before you knew it, the whole bottle was gone. Wild part was, wouldn't even get that fucking wasted. Anyway, I'll miss those days when I'm a lot skinnier from a little bit later on from now. Anyway, if you got questions for the AMA, drop them in the chat. What is that? Messenger. Sorry. That was something for a fitness challenge that I'm at. Hold on. Whoa, young man. Anyway, let's talk about something else. Oh, responsibilities. Lost a lot of responsibilities. I got a new team. I'm a captain on that team, but I don't have to come up with logistics and bullshit like that. I'm responsible for a small group of players that I'm very familiar with, which is cool. And also, the best part is they're responsible for themselves, and I don't have to do anything. You tell them to do something, they just do it. They're working hard on their own, and it's really cool to be on a team that has people who want to win and kind of put the work in to win on a regular basis. And obviously we got to gel together a little bit more. Right now we're 2-4 on the season officially. Should have been, bro, don't even get me started. We should be 3-3, but whatever. It was our fault. We allowed a comeback that we shouldn't have. Shout out Twin Cities Quad Ball Club. Y'all fucking killed it. Y'all really did. I'm not saying that sarcastically. I mean, for real. Time. Lost a lot of time. So, for instance, right now, I'm trying to finish this stream before 11 o'clock so that I can get to my girlfriend's house because I told her I was going to be there. We're supposed to have plans together and stuff like that. But, yeah, time is something that I've lost a shit ton of, it feels like. Even though time has not changed. It's still the same 24 hours. It's still the same 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In truth that she heard, or times that he cried, in bridges she burned, or the way that she died. Anyway, that's the last one of the year. You guys know I sing on my streams a little bit too much. Hopefully that didn't peak out my microphone, but I'm 100% sure that it did. I apologize. Also, if you don't get that reference, you're uncultured swine. Anyway, but yeah, same amount of minutes, same amount of hours. For some reason, and this is recently, guys, I've been waking up at 8 a.m. and haven't been getting home and laying down until 3 a.m. I feel like I've been embracing way too much of the grind lately, and still not getting all the shit that I need to get done. And that's the worst feeling possible. Don't know if it's time management or if I'm trying to do too many things at one time, which is a very real thing. But you would think that with all this time that I spend awake, I'd be less of a broke boy. But here we are. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's really all I got for time. Running out of that a lot. Not personally running out of time, but just running out of time in general constantly, because it feels like there should be more hours in the day. Or if I could just sleep a little bit, if I can only sleep 1 hour a day, I get everything that I need done and not have to worry about it. I'm just kidding. I do try and prioritize getting 8 hours of sleep. That was something that I did really well this year, honestly. But yeah, I feel like I'm running out, just constantly feel like I don't have enough time for anything ever. Anyway, moving on. That was enough about the losses. Those didn't feel as negative as I thought they did when I did the self-respection interview type stuff. Let's talk about the wins. So yeah, this year was pretty lit. for a guy who is a broke boy, who hosts a podcast called the Broke Boy Sports Podcast. This year was really rich in experiences for me. So I was on ESPN2, no big deal. But yeah, it was really weird. For a long, by the way, I now hate this experience. So, oh man, do we have time to talk about it? If there's ever time to talk about it, now is the time to talk about it. So, one, going back to one of my losses, talk about friendships. This ESPN2 thing, there was a decisive group of people who, when I told them I was going to be on ESPN2, did not react, did not say congratulations, said, oh man, that's cool. And then there's a group of people who know me enough to realize that this was a huge thing for me. And they kind of lost their minds on the phone. It was pretty dope. There were some people that I went out of my way to tell about this because I wanted them to hear it first. Like, for instance, I texted my high school college counselor, shout out Mr. Spurgeon, and he and I talked for the first time in like 5 years. Every time something, actually first time in 2 years, because every time something major for me happens in sports, he's one of the first people I tell. Because when I was in high school as a senior, really junior and senior, I used to go into his office and talk sports every morning before class. I used to be at school an hour before school started, officially, and all that kind of stuff like that, because that's the way the bus system worked in my school. It fucking sucked. Anyway, went into his office, talked to him, chopped it up about sports every day. And one of the things, if I ever make it as a sportscaster, is I want to be able to get to one. I want to do one thing where I'm like, which I did on ESPN2. I said, hi, Mom. One of the big goals for me personally, because I saw Tom Brady do it after I think like his first big game or something like that, and he said hi mama to the camera, because it's like a reminiscent thing of like, oh man, like I'm still just that kid from like all those years ago who dreamed about this moment of like being on TV and doing all this kind of stuff like that. Got that out. One of the big things I want to be able to point out at some point, like later on in my life, is to talk about the stupid moments of a teenager who was probably saying the dumbest takes possible in his high school college counselor's office. And be like, that is part of the reason that I'm here. And there's a lot of people that I told them, I was like, I would not have kept doing this sports thing if it wasn't for you. And I wouldn't keep doing this. I wouldn't be doing the Broke Boy Sports Podcast if it wasn't for certain people who inspired me to do so. And I'm not saying like told me to do it. I'm talking about people who like just listened to me ramble when they didn't have to. And it gave me the desire to do this and realize it was something that I enjoyed. And Mr. Spurgeon was one of those people. Always will be. Shout out to him. But yeah, the ESPN2 thing, so many people reached out to me, man, that I don't talk to on a regular basis. They saw the news and they were pumped for me. And there's people who I thought I was close to that I told about this that didn't really seem like they gave a shit, like at all. And it was like a huge moment for me, because it was like, wow, man, like this isn't even like the real thing, like me going to work at ESPN, but like I'm gonna be on national television, like I'm gonna be on global streaming platform, and also I'm back working for Disney for a day, which is really funny for me personally, because I tweeted at one of my friends, one of my former classmates who is cool with me. See, I'm trying to do better about making sure I define relationships properly. Who was cool with me, always really nice to me. Shout out Amber Sproul. She's a Colts fan, but that's probably her only negative quality as a human being. Other than that, she's probably crying her eyes out tonight because she went to Michigan before she went to go do her master's at Valpo. And Michigan got smoked by the Hypnotoad. Oh, hail the Hypnotoad. Anyway, all that goes down. But yeah, man, like there's so many people. I tweeted at her, be like, hey, we're coworkers again, even though she like legitimately works for ESPN and I am working on a thing that was purchased by somebody to be on ESPN too. But yeah, ESPN was a huge moment for me. I actually have been in one of those moments where it was like, damn, dude, like this set an expectation that I cannot reach anymore. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to be on ESPN ever again. Like, I told one of my friends, I was like, this is probably going to be the peak of my broadcasting career, dude. So make sure you watch it or whatever. And, negative thoughts, right? Negative thoughts. But we persevered, a little less self-hatred. But yeah, man, ESPN was huge. It was huge in the sense that it revealed a lot about people personally connected to me. And then on top of that, it also was one of those moments where I didn't feel like I didn't belong there. And of course, that was huge, right? Like it was one of those ones I put a headset on, like I've done 1,000,001 times, and it all harkened back to being at Mercer Stadium, which is the stadium in. Hold on, did somebody just message me for real, or was this like a group chat thing? It's a group chat thing. Anyway, so trying to mute things. There we go. Anyway, they had one of those moments where I was like, oh, this is just like doing a high school sports game. It's just a little, just slightly different, right? Audience is a little bit bigger, but it's still the same concept, right? Went out there, felt natural. A lot of people thought this is going to be like a launching point for my career, and I'm sorry to say to you guys, broadcasting is a heavily nepotismistic job. Lots of nepotism involved with it, and I don't have any connections like that, bro. I'm sorry. I don't have any connections like that. I'm just trying to. My biggest thing is I've always told myself, like, I need to become so good and overwhelmingly dominant that they have no choice but to recognize me as better than them. Even if they don't welcome me into their ranks, they will recognize me as better than them. Then it's a stupid mentality, but I'm a guy who aspires to be the greatest sportscaster of all time. Stupidity is kind of my thing. 2 years. This is in reference to my amazing relationship with my girlfriend. Big wins. 2 years in this one. But yeah, shout out to Jasmine, who probably is texting me about, hey, where are you at right now? Fantasy champ, I won 2 years into my time as a manager for a punishment league for with a group of people that I'm cool with. Once again, defining relationships properly. Group of people that I'm cool with. I jerry-rigged my way to a championship last year, and I tried to make it as entertaining as possible. I won 3 regular season games, and then I won 3 more games. All 3 of those games just so happened to be the first round of the playoffs, the second round of the playoffs, and the championship game. So we got 6 wins that season, and they were all due to just that, man. Like, it was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. Never got the belt from the commissioner's house because he was gonna make it as difficult as possible for me to get it, and there's a new champion that's been crowned, so I never actually had the belt. He still got it in his house, even though he actually was the worst team in the league last year. So yeah, fantasy champ, that was pretty cool. It was just funny because the dedication I spent to watching Seattle Seahawks running backs information. I picked up all 4 Seattle Seahawks running backs and cut and dropped 3 of them and played Rashad Penny for the championship game, and it felt like the most fantasy football dedicated thing I've ever done that paid off because he dominated. I won the championship by like 20 points, I think, and I was the champ. I was also the first champion that was not a white male. There's only 2 women. One is brown and one is white. So I ended racism. That was the cool part about it, and I billed it as that the entire season. Also, they made fun of me because I declared my allegiance to the Seattle Seahawks as well, along with the Houston Texans, because I don't agree with the way the Texans are run. And they told me that I was a fan. The running joke was I was a fan of all 32 teams in the league. And then when I won the championship, I made a video where I used the TikTok filter that allows you to put green screen on something. And I put the NFL logo on top of my black Adidas hat, so it looked like the NFL logo hat that Jerry O'Donnell, I believe, wore at a Rams game or whatever. And then I gave like a long wrestling promo about thank you to everybody who made this possible, and then read and annihilated the fact that I beat the number 1 seed in the playoffs to get there. the growth of the show is huge. So I guess this is a good time to click on this and look at the Twitch recap for me personally. So I think our average viewership, so we had 58 broadcasts this season, 58 broadcasts this year, and had 172 hours watched, which I think when I did the math was that an hour, the average amount of time watched by people who watched the show was 50. Oh, sorry, it was 2 hours. So like when people showed up, they stuck around because the show is usually shorter than 3 hours, and usually lately it's been a lot less. Anyway, also this year got I guess people got channel points. I didn't know about that. Chat messages, had 260 of those over the course of 58 broadcasts. That's pretty good. Total followers that we gained this year just alone, 66. So we gained over 1 follower per time we went live, which is crazy to think about because for a long period of time, I didn't think very many people were going to end up following the show. So yeah, that is on Twitch alone. Of course, that goes almost double for YouTube. YouTube, I think we started off with like 3 subscribers and now we're up to 26 in a year. And hopefully with the rate that we've been going the last couple of months, we continue to grow because it's a snowball effect, right? Like one person finds me, another person finds me. I keep sending those notifications to you annoyingly enough. And before you know it, we're cracking that safe, baby. And we're all $100 million richer. Well, just me. The money is mine. The show is yours. The money will be for me. Right? Deal. Right? Okay. Cool. Anyway. Apparently I can attribute emotes now? I didn't know that. Learn that. Let's see. Oh, look at that. What do you know? Make that 67 followers this year. Shout out to Callahan. I know who you are in real life. Appreciate you, bro. Make sure you guys go follow Callahan if you want to follow greatness. Soon to be Team USA player. Yeah, man. We were talking about show growth, and then we got a follower. What do you know? Dream Revitalized. ESPN actually made me. So I think I told the story already. They called me, asked me to be the broadcaster for the quad ball debut. Technically on television, actually a week before CBS Boston broadcasted the Boston Knight Riders on their website, but the television debut of quad ball happened on ESPN 88, and I was the voice of it. A lot of people reached out, including a guy who still blows my mind that he's like Facebook friends with me. I know a lot of people have different opinions about Alex Benepe and stuff like that. I don't know him, so the only thing I know about Alex Benepe is that he's the guy who narrated the documentary that got me into Quidditch. So when I see him, it's like seeing, oh man, that's the guy from TV. And I think I've met him twice. One time it was in a bathroom at Nationals, and he was like, hey man, you're like a really good broadcaster, you know that? And I was like, oh, thanks, dude. And I couldn't shake his hand because my hands were wet, and I was this is one of the few times that I didn't make Nationals. So yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty wild. Anyway, he sent me a long message about, hey man, you did a fantastic job for the first time ever in my entire life. Hold on a second here. Ooh, looks like I'm gonna delete that. Oh, don't worry, guys. We got it. Do we? I think we got it. Anyway. But yeah, no, it was trippy. Talked to him and then he wrote like a huge message on his Facebook profile about how it was cool to talk to me, how it was cool to see me broadcast and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, that's wild. The guy from the TV watched me do the thing from the internet, watched me do the weird thing that I do on the weekends. Anyway, that was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, man. It was huge for me personally, and that was one of the huge moments for me. And like I said before, ESPN made me realize that my dream is like actually possible because somebody's thought was to pick me. I don't know if I was the first choice or even the second or third or fourth, but I was the one who said yes. And there we go. I was there. It was cool, man. And then, of course, hanging out with Team Canada was dope. Wardrobe. I got a lot of compliments last year on how fly I be dressing. And that means a lot because a lot of clothes are not designed for fat people. And I work hard defined clothes that work well for me. If you see me in clothes, first of all, my new move for 2023, I started doing it towards the end of this year, so obviously it's going to carry over into next year. Started just rocking leggings, bro, like athletic leggings, especially now. Even the ones that are specifically meant to go under shorts come with pockets in them. Trying to live that life, bro. Trying to be like that. Trying to get like that. You know what I mean? So, that's pretty much it. That was it for me in terms of like wins. We are gonna. Hold on. I gotta open the creator dashboard to delete the spam real quick. But while we do that, I'm gonna move on to the next section that I have on here. So we did wins, losses. Things I remembered was like massively important. I put a lot of work into that, I think. Right? Yep, there we go. Things I remembered. 2 things. Run your race and mold your mind. Really weird. A lot of alliteration there. Run your race is something that so when I was losing a bunch of weight, this tends to happen, and it's probably part of the reason I don't post as much about my workouts anymore. People used to hit me up for like fitness advice. And I was like, bro, I ain't got nothing for you. Like, I'm fucking dying out here. You know, I'm like doing 4 workouts a week that are like an hour. Because one big thing that I did learn as time went on that helped me so much was the ability to, hey, you know, I found HIIT cardio, HIIT training in general. And it changed me up in terms of like how I view certain things, because it mimics game situations a lot better than just running long distances, which I hate with a passion. Like a burning passion in my very soul as a being. I hate long distance running. So yeah, that was the big takeaway from that. Run your race is something that I used to say to a lot of people, especially because I had friends who were like in way better shape than me, used to go to the gym. They don't lift as much as me, obviously, because the benefit of being fat is that you technically have like a shit ton of muscle under your body, because carrying around fat is basically weightlifting 24/7, 365. Think about it. It's true though. That's why it's important to stay active and move around and stuff. You get a good workout in just by walking. That's how your heart rate spikes, and that's why your heart rate spikes up. Anyway, don't take that advice from me as a fat guy who has a significantly lower resting heart rate than like the average person, you know. But yeah, run your race is something I used to say to my friends all the time who go to the gym and they're looking left and they're looking right and they're seeing people lift more weights than them. And I'm like, first of all, like, time is a factor here, guys. Like, the time that you spent in the gym and the time that other people spent in the gym is different. People are doing different things. They're not trying to remain, they're trying to do different things. Like, why is it hard for people? And I guess this is one of those things where it's like, it's like a mentality thing, right? Like, I have to constantly remind people, run your own race. Stop thinking about that person's faster than me. Stop thinking about that person's stronger than me. Guess what? Everybody else gets to be good at something. Everybody else gets to be good. You're good at something in comparison to someone else. For as slow as I am in the sport that I play, I am probably the strongest quad ball player on the planet. I would love to test that out, because I think they're probably, immediately there's 2 people that I thought of that are probably stronger than me, but I'm probably the strongest quad ball player on the planet. We're pretty fucking close to it. Like, I gotta be like top 5. At least number 1. Maybe on a bad day, I'm number 3, right? But that's a huge factor. Like, there's so many people who get obsessed with thinking about somebody else that they forget to, like, keep moving their legs forward. They get so paralyzed by somebody else's perceived success, they refuse to move forward. And I know it's like a super generic thing to say, and it's super basic bitch to put out there, but sometimes people need reminders of these super generic things to make sure that they stay on track. You got to keep moving forward. Them lifting more weights doesn't put you in a place that you gets you closer to where you want to be. Like, that's just pure facts. Anyway, mold your mind. I've been doing this thing, and I think I've told a couple of people about it, and I don't remember I don't think I've told any quad ball people about it, but I tell people about this all the time. in basketball. I play pickup basketball every Wednesday. I need to be playing basketball more, honestly, because it mimics quad ball. And basketball is the first sport that I truly loved playing. It was one of those sports where, like, every time a game was over with, even if I was dead dog tired, I was like, I can just keep playing, right? And eventually, I would be like the fattest dude on the court, but I'd be the last one off it more often than not. So, but yeah, mold your mind. I've been trying to do something that I used to do when I used to start every workout that I did when I lost like almost 100 pounds. I used to start every workout with cardio because I hated cardio the most. But now, after watching The Last Dance during 2020, I've realized that, like, if you don't tell yourself, or like if I don't say I want to win this game, I don't, like, my brain doesn't register I want to win this game. And maybe that's a loser mentality of, like, not having the default setting of trying to win. Because I think there's a base level of, like, I want to win this game, obviously, so I can keep playing and stay. Because they, eventually, like, they kick the loser off the court, right? I'm trying to keep playing. I want to win this game just for the simple fact that I get to play another game if I win. I've been working on, like, saying it in my head. Like, when I walk on the court, I'm like, we're going to win this one. Not we're going to. We want to, and this is how we're going to do it. We need to, like, impose our will upon people. And I've always heard that phrase like 1,000,000,001 times from, like, so many aspects of sports. And I started off by just saying it. And as time went on, I realized, like, when I say I'm going to impose my will, I start doing the things that people don't want me to do. Like, I start doing, like, oh man, wouldn't it be like if there's a ball in the air, wouldn't it be terrible if I boxed you out into the boxed you out of bounds? The ball's loose on the ground. Oh man, wouldn't it be terrible if I ran full speed to go get that ball? And I start doing it because I realize that is my way of attacking a person, even if they have like a huge head start on me. I need to let them know I'm right here and I'm still coming every single time. I may not be good enough to go out here and beat you or whatever, but I need you to know and understand that is not what is going to determine whether or not I succeed. And I've been working on it, man. I've been working on it, especially in quad ball. It's a little bit more difficult, but basketball is a sport that's so second nature to me that I can see when it's time to, like, turn it on and when it's time to chill it back a little bit to watch, when it's time to, like, let other people shine, when it's time for me to go out there and make something happen so that eventually I can open up something for somebody else, right? It was a mentality that I used and got, honestly, from a cartoon, an anime that I watch and used to watch called Kuroko's Basketball. There's a character on there. His name is Dake Almine. They said Almine Dake because you say your last name first because you say the name that means the most first, right? And you say your surname because it means the most, and that's the name that you represent. Anyway, they say Almine's name, and or Almine exists in this world, and Almine is like a dog. Like, not a dog. He doesn't have the desire to get better because he's already so much better than everyone else. Hashtag cannot relate, right? But one thing I can relate to is what he says to the main character of the show when he, like, gives his explanation for why he's done trying, because he breaks the spirit of people he plays against because of how good he is, to the point where they're like, I don't want to even play anymore because he's so good. Now, this is what, when it's all said and done, when it's all put together, he says, I've made my decision. The only one who can beat me is me. And he means, like, there is literally nobody on this planet who's good enough to beat me. And I post that in my IG story every day or every morning before a tournament. The only one who can beat me is me. And I believe it. And I try to implement it. And it's a part of saying, I want to win this game. It's a weird thing, but it is something that I've been trying to focus on and develop, like, as a player. Like, when things get tough, there's got to be somebody who plays Like, they do not care what happens. And there's actually a new character in Blue Lock, a soccer anime that I love a lot. His name is Baki, and he had them. They were down like 3-0 in a game, and he just takes off running with the ball. And everybody else is like, yo, what's happening? And they just start all sprinting because they're like, what's he doing? Does he have like an idea of like what he's going to do? And they go to him as a character while he's dribbling the ball up the pitch. And he's just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know that we got to get back out here and win this game. And we're not going to do it by sitting around doing nothing. And so I always focus, or I try and drive that into myself. And I try and make that a part of what I do. When it comes to playing sports, which means I need to start playing pickup soccer more in the upcoming year, and then 2, I just got to do more. We are definitely over on this one, but yeah, that's all I got. Mold your mind, run your race, and those are the explanations for why I believe they're things that I remembered throughout the course of this year. Both of those are related to playing sports or whatever, but they're life things as well. Things to do this upcoming year. Be a better friend. Pretty simple. I spend so much time doing this show. I spend so much time hanging out with my girlfriend. I spend so much time doing everything. Like, Quidditch gets in the way of me being a friend. I missed my friend's bridal or engagement shower because we were in New Orleans for CCI, but I had already signed up for it. Like, I had already signed up for it like months before they told me when the engagement party was. So I didn't feel as bad, but I still felt bad about missing my friend's engagement party. I'm going to be at the wedding. Duh. That's in like 2 weeks. Once again, talking about constantly running out of time, my biggest thing is that every fucking weekend I have something that I have to do. Every weekend there's something big that I have to do. And then the consistent thing that I have to do is practice. I have quad ball practice every Saturday, and everything else on like on Sundays. I have, like, for 4 straight Sundays, I've not been able to watch football. It sucks. I have to go back and rewatch all the replays on Monday and Tuesday. Direct my focus more efficiently. I feel like sometimes my brain has been drifting a little bit, and it's because I have so much shit that I have to do. I'm trying to, work to pay back stuff that I pay bills on a regular basis, pay back loans that I have, just to make sure that I'm actually paying extra on shit that I owe back. Started planning to live. This is one of those things where it's like being a streamer and doing my other freelance work and all that kind of stuff like that, and doesn't like have an end goal. Like, it's unlikely that at the end of this year I'm going to be any step closer, and I mean the end of 2023, that I'm going to be any step closer to like owning a house, right? And that's a lofty goal for people of my age, but it is a goal that I should have because it's important in general for the development of me as a human being, which I feel like it's been stunted so much by chasing my dream. But we'll find out as time goes on. Next chapter's coming up in a little bit. Become more athletic. This is a pseudo way to be like, hey man, you'd be a little bit faster if you weighed like a couple pounds less. But I don't like saying way less, because then that puts into the factor of like, yo man, you could literally just be losing all the muscle on your body, and that would fucking suck. Because that's harder to gain back as you get older, right? I say more athletic because I do need to run faster. I need to become more agile. I need to become more flexible. I need to be springier. Like, I need to be able to have more height. I need to be able to make the things that I see in my mind happen faster if I ever want to be a member of Team USA. And that is still one of my goals, and that goes into dream harder. Still dreaming, still going to keep doing it. Got plans cooking up. Not plans necessarily, but going to stick to the grind, man. Stick to making sure that I put the show out. Like, there's no dream if I don't put the show out, right? Like, I do this show one, to build my own personal stuff about like this own personal community of people who want to talk sports with me the way that I want to talk sports, not the way that like people want to talk about sports with like Barstool or ESPN or NBC and troll and all that kind of shit like that. People want to talk sports like a person, like a human being. What a concept. And then keep being kind. I feel like I, one, aspire to be a nice person and aspire to be a person that brings joy to people. That is like one of my goals on a regular basis. Like, I try not to be negative or try to, well, I'm really mean to myself, but I try to be really kind to everyone else. Also, I guess wrapping this into this one, the people that I'm kind to also comment that I don't ever talk about myself, and I should probably do that more. Like, people ask me how I'm doing, and I really kind of move the conversation along. because I don't feel like I actually have anything to talk about. Anyway, let's talk about the AMA. Let's get this done real quick because I still have time to be able to make it to my girlfriend's house on time, but without her hating me as a human being, which she would never do, but I feel like getting there before midnight is like massively important. So, favorite sports image of the year. This one was really fun. I got it. It's pretty simple. It blows my fucking mind every time I see it, and I love it. It's probably not the best image, but it's the one that when I was asked this question, it popped into my mind immediately. So this is an image taken by Brian Bennett, and it is of the Miami Dolphins playing the Buffalo Bills. Perfect color combinations, by the way, with the aqua in the snow, aqua and white in the snow versus the red and white from the Buffalo Bills. The kick for the win in this game as well. It was so dope. This photo is beautiful. You can see you may not be able to see the individual design of the snowflakes or anything like that, but it feels like this could be hung in any football fan's house. And it would be like, that's football. That's good looking football, right? That's like cool stuff. Like, it's blocking up here the mass of humanity, people grinding it out, trying to get out here. And then there's just this subtle flutter of a kick through this beautiful, beautiful white snow. Hashtag I love cocaine. I love this picture. There's a couple others, and I'm probably going to have to do it image of the year, I guess. At the end of the regular season, so I should probably compile these together, but this one is the one that resonated with me the most. It was beautiful, and it still sticks with me. I'm going to make it full screen so you can enjoy it as well. A little bit. I got the Getty Images version because the Instagram version doesn't let you download it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. Closing that one. That was a question sent in by TC Latch, Tyler McClatchy. Shout out to him. Hopefully coaching is going well. Let's see. Sorry. From December all the way back to April, highlights from USQ Salt Lake City. So this was from Jonathan Bonner, who's like, first of all, shout out Jonathan Bonner, the real legend. He runs a quad ball league at the middle school that he's a teacher at, to teach like little kids how to play quad ball eventually, because the league can only do so much, and it doesn't seem like they're making an effort to get to the youth level, but they could be doing stuff. But yeah, best food along the way. Sad part is your boy didn't really eat too much when he was sitting in the car, because that would increase the number of bathroom stops I would have to take, and for me to make it to Salt Lake City and back, or make it to Salt Lake City twice and back. By the way, this was easily one of the most impressive saving trips that I ever did for me personally. As an adult, I put together, I think I had almost like $2,000 for this trip alone, and ended up using all of it because I had to pay for a hotel room, I think, for 2 nights or some shit like that before I started driving back. But it was really cool, man. Shout out to Mary Stewart, who let me crash at her place both nights. It was really fun hanging out with my friend Mary. But yeah, best food along the way. I honestly, man, Salt Lake City was rough for your boy. I will point out, I did go to McDonald's in Salt Lake City because everything closed so early. I went to McDonald's and asked for like a triple cheeseburger, and I have a photo of it in my phone, and I'm not gonna put it on the screen or anything like that. But they had no idea that the people at that McDonald's, I guess it's illegal in certain places or whatever, they don't have triple cheeseburgers on the menu, so they put like 5 patties and like 6 slices of cheese on. Like, I asked for 2 of them, and they gave me 10 patties between the 2 of them. There's 5 on each one, and I asked for a triple cheeseburger, and somebody was like, put them on there. Put them on there. I thought that was funny. I don't think we ate anything that was Salt Lake specific. I was too busy having a meltdown because we had 10 people at Nationals. It was really amazing to see everybody else. I feel like this year when we go to Nationals, one, going for the Natty, obviously trying to win the trophy, trying to bring it home, right? And then 2, like, it's going to be nice to be able to go with people and go with a full team. Like, there's no question about I've not doubted us bringing 21 people to any tournament this season. And I think we have, minus like 3 people who have just like bailed the day of, which obviously with the number of people on our team. Now we're just like, cool, man. So don't know how to tell you this, but you're pretty much out of contention for making any future roster. So congratulations, I guess. But yeah, it was cool, man. Salt Lake City was pretty dope as a whole. Way cooler than I thought. My journey. So the big thing to take away, I told a bunch of people this when I got there. People didn't believe me. One, air was super dry in comparison to Houston. So like my throat was dry the entire time. I drank so much water when I got to Salt Lake City because I basically didn't want to stop once the sun went down because I didn't want to be in a random place. But yeah, so the second day of driving, so I got to Lubbock and drove from Lubbock to Salt Lake City all in one day. Second day of driving, got up to 7,000 feet elevation in Colorado, in the back end of Colorado, in the rural part of Colorado. Head was banging, was 7,000 feet above sea level, which is twice the height that Salt Lake City is, apparently. Learned that when I got there. Drove through what was like near pitch black darkness in Utah. They don't have like light reflectors on the road. They don't have light reflectors on the roads in Utah. Learned this from Lisa. Shout out Lisa. She told me because the snowplows would just pull them off the road every time when they have to plow the roads. I was like, oh, well, look at that. Big difference between Texas and everybody else. They don't have as many lights on the interstates as in other states or whatever. But between New Mexico, what was it? Through New Mexico, hit a dust /sandstorm. Two trucks collided head on in the street or in a one-way highway street during a dust storm because they couldn't see each other. And I was stuck in New Mexico for like an hour waiting for people to waiting for them to clear out trucks or whatever. It was trippy. So I got caught in the dust storm, got into Utah, top of the mountain, rainstorm around, what's that Jeep place? Movada? What is it? Oh man, it's the Jeep Heaven. Jeep Wrangler Heaven is what they call it or whatever. It is Jeep Heaven, Utah. Hold on, we're gonna figure this out. I don't know why it's called Jeep Heaven because I feel like it's just off-road place heaven. But yeah, everybody drove a Jeep Wrangler there. It was pretty trippy. I've been told about this like 1,000,000,001 times, and I don't know why I forgot it. Moab, Utah. There we go. Didn't look it up, sounded it out. Moab, Utah. Went through there, got caught in a rainstorm. Started driving down the mountain to get into Salt Lake, side of the mountain, sidewinder streets the whole time. People going 60 miles an hour around me. I'm freaking out. It's raining, and then the rain turns into snow. The rain turns into snow. I finally get, and I've never felt so much anxiety for like such a prolonged period of time, like driving downward into Salt Lake City, into the valley. And it was life-changing. It was really cool on the way out during the daytime when I could see everything. It was beautiful. That's when I got the most videos or whatever. That was pretty trippy for me personally. But yeah, that was a big moment for me. Got caught in a dust storm, a rainstorm, and a snowstorm all in the same day. And also 7,000 feet elevation. Highest I've ever been above Earth. Oh, no, I take that back. I've been on a plane multiple times. But highest I've ever driven. It was pretty trippy. My head was banging. Man, this one's a hard one. I got to power through this one because I got to get out of here like ASAP before I'm well hated where I'm going. Your NBA, this is from Charlton, my boy Charlton, who for some reason wasn't at CCI. Hopefully everything's all right, bro. Your NBA top 5 or 10 and the quad ballers who best match their game. I don't know if this is supposed to be like all time or current top 5 because obviously any ranking that I make right now has to involve LeBron. Typing it on a tweet so I don't spaz out about this and I keep my train of thought going. So I have to have LeBron on there somewhere. LeBron's probably, obviously Giannis is the best basketball player on the face of the planet right now. Giannis, Luka. Luka. Oh man, where's Kawhi fit in this? This is brutal right now. I'm gonna put LeBron at 3. because honestly, if LeBron just had better teammates, he'd be getting better results. Jokic on here because look, man, y'all are dumb if y'all don't think Jokic one of the best of the game right now. Jokic top 5. Oh, by the way, not to be racist or anything like that. This is not a racism thing. It's purely a style of play thing. I have many times thought Tyler Trudeau moves like Nikola Jokic on the pitch. Like, I'm not even joking. It's go look it up. Go look it up. Look at them side by side. But yeah, Jokic, Tyler Trudeau, for sure. 5, man. Who would be my 5th best basketball player? Kawhi? No. Not going Ja. Oh wait, this is crazy. Man, this is brutal to put it out there, but Steph, man. I don't know why I have Steph 5th, but Steph is like greatest 3-point shooter of all time. But yeah, like Steph is like a killer though. This is a brutal top 5. I would put damn. So we got Jokic and Tyler Trudeau, LeBron, who plays like LeBron. Plays with power, has good passing ability, spatial awareness, and is a good team player. Probably Quincy, right? That'd be racist because it'd be a black guy and a black guy, right? But I feel like Quincy plays with a lot of power. Axtell seems like he passed the ball a lot. But yeah, Luka, significant size advantage over almost every opponent. Plays technically out of position and has a lot of individual skill for sure. Kind of springy. Maybe Josh Johnson. Axtell or Quincy on the LeBron part, by the way. And then Giannis. Long, lanky, centers everything around his power, keeps everything relatively simple in terms of like driving to the lane and making things happen. Not and is taller on the taller end, has a lot of power, and does pass the ball well. Is a good team player, inspires teammates. Damn. Inspires teammates. That's the important part. Trying to think of some players, man. So like I think about Cav, obviously, because I want like one of these has to match up with Augie, right? Like at some point, I would say it's probably Steph. Great teammates, great individual player, right? And then Giannis would be like the absolute freakiest. Oh, it's DME. There we go. Absolute freakiest of the guys that are in there. Augie. Yeah, let me just tag Charlton in this and move on with my. I don't. It was very funny that I typed it into a tweet and now it is. Is it gonna pop up? Damn. I gotta get out of here soon though. For real. Charlie Trent. There he is. Yeah, there we go. Putting it in there. So the question was my top 5 NBA players and which quad ballers, which is the sport that I play on my own, matches up with them the best. So I put Giannis at number 1 and I put Run DME, Luka with Josh Johnson, LeBron, Andrew Axtell, Jokic, Tyler Trudeau, Steph Curry with Augie. So yeah, that's all I got on this one. I think that's the last AMA question too, so we might actually legit be done. Oh no, it's not. My best favorite quad ball memory. This is from my teammate Juan Acevedo. My favorite quad ball memory is probably so Nationals was in Round Rock, Texas a couple of years ago. Tell me if you heard that story before. Nationals in the second of the back-to-back Round Rock runs for Nationals. We wake up, weather's all messed up. This is when the Cosmos had too many people on the team. We had to actually make cuts. We had Teddy Costa on our team. Some people that are my friends, Richie Lauren, Beth were on my team, and Autumn, my probably my dearest and most closest teammate that ex-teammate that I have, because she retired. Actually see her like once a year and is like the best ever. Got to see her last week before she went back to California, to work at LA. She too works for Disney. So love you, Autumn. Anyway, best memory, we're at Round Rock. We are 0-3 in day one. Everybody's fucking pissed because we dropped a game versus Long Beach Funky Quaffles that we should have won. And then we played a game versus Gambits at 1 o'clock in the morning and lost pretty embarrassingly because of Grant Rose. Shout out Grant Rose, pretty good. Really good player, actually. Hopefully he's doing well. And then what else happened? Oh, woke up, went to sleep, had the recurring nightmare that happens after day one of every 2-day tournament. It is the constant loop that your brain puts together, and this may be just an anxious person thing or something, the constant loop of highlights of horrible things that you did. Like, all your mistakes get put onto like a highlight reel, and you sleep, and it just keeps running. And I've talked to multiple teammates about this and other players about this, and it happens to everybody. At some point, maybe it'll stop happening to me, but that time is not now. Luckily, I live in a time now where national or regionals for club teams is 1 day. So I don't have the second day to go to sleep and feel like I'm in an absolute fucking hellish nightmare, get terrible sleep, wake up and have to play again the next day. But nonetheless, we're in Round Rock. It's day 2. We get 1 game. It's freezing cold and it's windy. We're playing against Southern Storm, which turned out to be their final game ever as a team, I believe. And then it's the Cosmos. All of my old teammates show up to Nationals. So, like, legitimately the people who taught me how to play that are now retired. It was me and Autumn's last time, like, legitimately the last time we ever played Quidditch together on the same pitch, on the same field with each other, and we won, like, in dominating fashion. Like, I got the hardest tackle I've ever had in my entire life in that game. I scored a goal. I scored multiple goals in that game or whatever, but that Autumn pulled the snitch, which she had been doing all season, and we won. And Cosmos has 2 wins officially at Nationals. Last year, we got our second one versus the Las Vegas Invaders. Shout out to them. They've now joined up with the Lost Boys, I believe. So, but yeah, the first win ever for the Cosmos at Nationals, because that season was the season that everybody, or like there was a core of us that worked so fucking hard to get to Nationals, because at the time, the formatting and how everything was set up, it took everything in our bodies and every skill that we had to be able to put together the resume to earn a bid. It was brutal, man. And we earned it. We got there by the skin of our teeth. Teddy becomes the first player in Cosmos history to make Team USA. And then announces that he's going back up north to go back home and stuff like that. It was like the ultimate goodbye for like all the people who had like such a huge impact on me as a player in playing this game. Luckily, I still had Kevin and everything like that, but it was like a lot of my friends stopped playing. It was the last time we ever played together. And I remember looking at Autumn, and I actually have a photo of her before I asked, and I was like, "Oh, you think we'll ever play Quidditch together again?" She's like, probably not." Which, knowing Autumn, very Autumn answer. But yeah, that's my best quad ball memory, and I feel like that's a good way to end. I think that's the last one. Let me double check. I don't want to disrespect anybody who went out of their way to send me a question. I appreciate it. I know there's one more. Oh, Ariel asked why I have a Keyblade. I've played every Kingdom Hearts game on console ever, multiple times through, including Kingdom Hearts 3, which sucked. But yeah, that's not just any Keyblade. If you know your history, the gold means it is the King's Blade. Shout out King Mickey. In the Kingdom Hearts world, the king of their world is Mickey Mouse. So yeah, who would have thought? This is from Fiona. She asked me my least favorite rule change this USQ season. I'm not a rules guy. I'm not a rules snitch. I don't Oh man, is it the beater rule? Is it the head beat rule? I don't know, man. Like it's a safety thing, and it's one of those things where it makes you sound like an old person when you're like, oh, the blah, 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 back in my day, blah, 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 that kind of thing. It was one of the. Oh, sorry, that was not a COVID cough. That was just a regular cough. But yeah, I almost said that. Almost said the head beat rule, but I think it's more now. There's a bigger gray area about what can happen during tackles, and as a person who, it's what can happen during tackles. Like I do enjoy that they've expanded the rule about like front and back contact. It has not been called consistently so far this season. We played a game against Boom Train and we almost lost it on Boom Train and the referee crew, and then Boom Train almost lost it on the ref crew and us while we were playing because of the lack of calls about back tackles. So I would say that rule, because it has now become an ultimate gray area, even though we are inching closer and closer to the time period where you can make contact below the knee. And we'll look back at this time and laugh hardy har about how you couldn't tackle people below the knee because we didn't trust people enough, which is understandable because there's like absolutely no reason that you should trust a rando to know how to properly tackle. There's people on my team that have never tackled anyone and never played a tackle sport. So hold on. There's a question I know for sure Brandon Kubena sent me, and damn, did I delete it or did I just not? Hold on. Sorry, Brandon. I'm going to find it. I am. All right. Hopefully it's still... yeah, let's go. I think I messaged him back, so maybe it's in our DMs. Oh, damn. Notifications. Check notifications real quick about... Hold on. Oh, this is from Avery Unlimited on Instagram. They asked, best movie I've seen this year in theaters. Black Panther 2. Wakanda Forever. Hands down, because it's the only movie I saw in theaters this year. What team did I score my first bucket on in Quidditch? I'm pretty sure it was LSU. So, I'm like 98% sure it was LSU. I went to Breakfast Taco when it was at Sam Houston. Like in Huntsville or whatever, before this is like 3 years prior to me actually winning that tournament, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I think it was against LSU. They're or one of LSU's unofficial teams or something like that. We played them, and I scored a goal, and somebody tripped me up. This is also my first tournament ever, so it wasn't like I went goalless. Whatever. It's back when club teams used to play each other all the time. But yeah, my first goal was against LSU, and all those people are awesome. They've been nothing but kind to me. One of them is my teammate now, Daniel DePaulo. Who would have thought? All these years later, we're on the same squad. But yeah, that's all I got on this one. So, until next year. Thank you to everybody who wrote in for the AMA. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and listened to the stream all the way through. I'm not doing this until midnight. I'm going to try and drive and meet my girlfriend before midnight, and hopefully not become the most hated man. Hopefully not started 2023 single. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate everybody who chimed in, and appreciate all the follows and everything that you've done to support this show this year. If you just joined up at some point during the season, or if you've always been here, love you very much. Appreciate the people who have made this possible, because none of this is possible without viewers like you.